For 10 years, we've been introducing you to the men and women who have been business leaders, visionaries, and province builders. They are exceptional people and role models. Our focus has primarily been on the leaders of the past half-century. There are so many more that need to be recognized. So tonight, we're introducing a new category of Business Laureate. I give you the Pioneers. They are a distinguished group of men and women. They built, we benefit.
The strength of today's economy is built on the vision, leadership, and integrity of business pioneers who saw opportunity in British Columbia, and what they did was groundbreaking. For example, did you know that Nat Bailey literally invented the food truck? One day he put a grill on the back of his Model T and started selling hamburgers to tourists. One of those burgers was the Triple O. The name means plenty of fixins, and that's what Nat was always doing. He was constantly fixing the way he was doing business. He graduated from his truck to create Canada's first drive-in restaurant, and he nicknamed the servers Car Hops. Nat founded and ran the company for 50 years, a company that was built on a combination of two values: respect for his team and the guarantee of a handshake. On his menu, you could always find salmon, a BC staple, one made possible thanks to the ingenuity of Mr. Henry Bellerving, who consolidated 9 canneries to become the top sockeye producer in the world. The company flourished, selling BC salmon as far away as his homeland in the UK. And then along the way, he identified another opportunity: the cans themselves. Bellerving brought in partners and mechanized the process and created another groundbreaking venture, the Automatic Can Company. He was also acutely aware of the need to protect BC's precious fishing resources. He urged and played a foundational role in the establishment of the Pacific Salmon Commission. At the same time as Henry Bellerving was revolutionizing the salmon industry, Benjamin Tingley Rogers was doing the same with sugar. He had immigrated to Vancouver from Philadelphia, where he mastered in sugar manufacturing. He identified a need for refined sugar in Western Canada. He established Rogers Sugar and started from the ground up. He had to train all of his staff because no one in the province had any experience with sugar. Decades later, Rogers saw an opportunity in recycling the syrup sugar refining produces. Syrup. Rogers Golden Syrup. The company was, and still is, the only sugar refinery west of Ontario. Food and agriculture are at the heart of another extraordinary entrepreneur's story. Hokyat Louis immigrated to Canada in 1896 after borrowing $50 so he could pay the head tax, a tax designed to stand in the way of immigrants coming from China. After a series of labor jobs, he leased a plot of land and started farming. He worked hard and adhered to a strict set of business and personal principles. By 1903, he opened his first store selling seeds, fertilizer, and wholesale groceries. He built his company and helped build our city. He knew Canada had much to offer to others, so he paid their head tax, enabling them to come and prosper, and in the process make BC a better province. His company is still family-owned, and it is still guided by the principles and values that he established. Another pioneer whose company started in the food sector is David Oppenheimer. They started selling food and dried goods to those chasing the gold rush, then moved into what is now known as Gastown to establish a food distribution business that is still operating today. David Oppenheimer is also known for his civic contributions. He was the second mayor of the city, and he served 4 terms without taking a paycheck. Instead, he donated land to build schools and playgrounds. He is affectionately called the Father of Vancouver. The development of streets, transportation, and basic utilities were all started by Mr. Oppenheimer, plus he established the electric company that would eventually become BC Hydro. Now, when it comes to heavy lifting, Earl Finning was the guy you turn to. He was just one of a few who helped lift BC's economy out of the Great Depression. That's when he dug a new path in construction and resource development. He forged an alliance with Caterpillar to sell its loaders and graders and backhoes and haulers, and in doing so, he also established a new way of doing business. We service what we sell. Earl Finning crisscrossed BC meeting customer needs, and in doing so built a company that today employs 15,000 people in 6 countries on 3 continents. Good service, it turns out, is universal. Another pioneer in the resource sector was H.A. Simons, a brilliant mechanical engineer. He was considered to be so smart that Pulp and Paper magazine hailed him as an eminent engineer. He was so good at his job that he was honored with an award for outstanding contributions to engineering by the American Society of Engineers. In 1939, Simons started to design the Port Alberni pulp mill, a project that was delayed due to the war, but it was completed in 1947, and when it opened, it was the first pulp mill to be built in BC in 40 years. The mill was renowned around the world for its leading-edge design and technology. Mr. Simons went on to design and oversee the building of numerous pulp mills in BC and the United States. John Prentice, the co-founder of Canadian Forest Products, was a visionary. Shortly before the outbreak of the Second World War, Prentice and Pulte Bentley got into the veneer business. Later, they purchased a number of small companies and pulp companies, growing their venture into Canadian forest products. Prentice was an early recycler. He identified an opportunity in wood waste, turning it into value-added products. His leadership skills were widely recognized, and he was asked to serve as the chairman of the Canada Council for 2 terms. Across town, the globe-trotting engineer Dick Sandwell traveled more than 1 million miles by plane. 1 million miles. After graduating with honors, Sandwell started designing and building pulp and paper mill machinery and equipment. In his first 21 years, Sandwell and Company completed more than 1,500 engineering, management, and planning assignments around the world. On Vancouver Island, Jeannie Butchart envisioned and built the world-famous Butchart Gardens. In 1915, 100 years ago, her gardens hosted 18,000 visitors that year, and each year the number just keeps growing. Butchart Gardens has become a famous tourist attraction for people from around the world. Jeannie Butchart was named Victoria's Best Citizen in 1931. What an honor.